Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
Right now at 10, following developing news out of Hartford tonight, another homicide in the capital city. Community leaders speaking out as the violent trend continues.
Plus, Alex Jones ordered to pay up even more to families of Sandy Hook victims, the amount a judge decided today.
And another Connecticut city concerned about crime. An open discussion with Waterbury's police chief and residents. We'll take you there tonight. But we start things off here at 10 with a weather watch alert as Connecticut's getting ready for the remnants of Hurricane Nicole. Here's a look at the current radar of what's now Tropical Storm Nicole, Tropical Depression Nicole rather, as it leaves the state of Florida and now heads north. Good evening, I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. Thank you so much for joining us. We are expecting Nicole to create a wet and stormy end of the work week and possibly to start your weekend as well. We want to get right over to Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank to tell us when we're going to see the worst of it. Rachel.
Yeah, I think the worst is going to be after sunset tomorrow night through around daybreak Saturday morning. So Tropical Depression Nicole is moving northwest at 15 miles per hour. This storm is going to accelerate rapidly. It will get caught up in a cold front that will pick up whatever is left over from the moisture, and there's plenty of moisture associated with it, and it will take a run up the East Coast and pay us a visit. So we're not getting hit by a tropical storm. I think the impacts for us out of this will be very similar to a typical rain and wind event for us that we get almost every November, but it will definitely feel tropical, especially around this time tomorrow. It will be warm, it will be humid. Temperatures around 10 o'clock at night tomorrow will be near 70 degrees. So it's definitely not a cold November rain. We're expecting around an inch of rain. Some areas could get up to an inch and a half, and gusts up to 35 to 45 miles per hour. Again, the worst winds will be as we head through the night on Friday and especially towards daybreak Saturday morning. The highest wind gusts at the shoreline in southeast Connecticut, and we're not expecting any significant outages, but there could be a few sprinkled in, especially towards the shoreline and for southeastern areas where the winds could be a bit higher, and that's where you'll find a wind advisory in effect. But we are quiet for tonight. Temperatures in the 40s to right around 50 degrees. Notice as we head through the day tomorrow, it's a dry start, but a rising chance for a few of those showers as we head through the midday into the afternoon, and the rain really filling in towards and after sunset. We'll take you through the future radar and what this means as we head into the weekend coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, in a Fox 61 follow-up to breaking news that we first brought you last night at 10, Hartford is on edge after the city's third homicide since Sunday.
In the wake of a violent week, one community group is now trying to put a stop to that violence. According to the mayor, all three of those homicides have something in common. They stemmed from personal disputes among people who knew each other. Community leaders say that that's indicative of the problem plaguing the city today. Fox 61's Gabby Molina has more. Gabby?
Yeah, Ben and Jen, we got a chance to speak to some of those community leaders, and they said that violence is stemming from these very personal disputes, and that's a really big problem. Violence in a community can have an impact on more than just the people directly involved. And this week has been a difficult one in Hartford.
That's compounding, when you have back-to-back homicides for any community. The more it happens, the more difficult it takes to shake.
3 deadly shootings in just 4 days. The most recent happening Wednesday evening on Main Street in the city's north end. It's where the group Hartford Communities That Care set out Thursday evening.
We were handing out trauma information just to make sure that the community knows what the services are that are available to them.
Going door to door, their mission is to make sure people know they're not alone.
We like to ensure them too that they not only have law enforcement people that come and check on them, but regular community people that live in their same environments that come day to day to check on them.
The team is made up of people who grew up in Hartford, doing their part to make their own community better.
It's my city. I love the city. I've been here my whole life. A lot of my friends I grew up with are part of the city. They work for city officials, and I'm doing my work here on the ground.
Executive Director Andrew Woods says that is what it's going to take to address the problem of violence.
I think it's a matter of all hands on deck, quite frankly, to where people just really need to think about what can I do in my own home? What can I do on my own block?
The city has seen 36 homicides so far this year, on track to be one of the deadliest in over a decade. In a statement, Mayor Luke Bronin said, while the number of shootings overall is down this year, the number of fatal shootings is devastatingly high, as we've seen so much of this violence driven by very personal, close-quarter disputes between people who know each other well, including these 3 most recent homicides.
I oftentimes say that the gun is the extension of the fist. You know, back in days when people usually resolve conflict by just talking it out or either just going to, having a fight, with, and then walking away and then being able to live and talk about it the next day.
Hartford police said that just this year they've already gotten more than 300 illegal guns off the street, and Mayor Bronin said that they've made unprecedented investments in community-based partnerships and violence intervention programs. Live in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
All right, Gabby, thank you. In Connecticut's tightest race for Congress, Republican challenger George Logan has conceded. The race in the state's 5th district was called last night for Democratic Congresswoman Jahana Hayes, who's ahead of Logan by more than 1,800 votes. The Secretary of the state's office says that's above the threshold to trigger a recount. While conceding, Logan says that he's optimistic about the GOP's future here in Connecticut.
While the outcome of Tuesday's election was not what we worked hard for, it is a warning that the voters of the 5th Congressional District want their voices to be heard.
Now, coming up at 10:30, Fox 61's Keith McGilvery is going to break down the vote totals, and he's going to explain which parts of the state were key for Congresswoman Hayes' victory.
New developments tonight as conspiracy theorist Alex Jones will have to pay nearly $500 million in more damages to Sandy Hook families. Judge Barbara Bellis ordering Jones to pay an additional $473 million in punitive damages. In her ruling, the judge says that the plaintiff's argument that Jones's conduct was intentional and malicious. She also wrote Jones pushed lies about the school shooting and was certain to cause harm because of how InfoWars could share its content. Last month, 6 jurors in Waterbury Superior Court ordered Jones to pay $965 million. Today's ruling brings the total that he owes to more than $1.4 billion. In a statement, Jones's attorney says that he believes today's ruling will make Jones's appeal even easier.
Well, new at 10, as officers in Waterbury search for a man wanted in a deadly shooting on Halloween, people in the Brass City are expressing their concerns to the police chief. Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner was there when those neighbors met with him tonight. She joins us live now. So, DeAndrea, what did they have to say?
Well, crime was a big topic tonight, from murder to pedestrian-involved crashes. Residents here, they want to know, are they safe? And how can they be a part of making sure the city that they live in continues to stay safe?
Can you lower the stats? Can you lower it?
Trying to find solutions to problems.
Can you lower crime as a police officer?
The Waterbury police chief, along with Waterbury residents, gathered in a public meeting Thursday to discuss concerns across the city. One major topic, crime.
The citizens are concerned about crime. They are concerned about pedestrians being struck. They are concerned about speeders.
Those topics being addressed in this Q&A session.
It's no secret that things have been very difficult in the city, really across the state, for the last several months.
Just this week, Waterbury police arrested 2 women accused of robbing and murdering another woman in what police say was a crime of opportunity. Meanwhile, police are searching for this man, 43-year-old Clarence Rhodes. He's wanted in connection to a shooting that killed 23-year-old Xavier Palat on Halloween.
Rhodes has 3 pending cases currently in court, and he was out on $125,000 in bonds at the time that he committed the murder of Xavier Palat.
Waterbury police also released this shocking body cam video showing a man slamming his vehicle into 2 police cruisers during a traffic stop.
He has a prior juvenile probation. He has a history of arrests dating back to 2017 until the current year. These arrests were for guns and other serious violent charges.
The police chief says that the people who are allegedly committing crimes are repeat offenders.
Again, it's those pre-adjudicated people, right? It's the people that get in trouble with the law for an act of violence. They're on the docket, their case is moving slow, or it's completely stalled. They've been out on bond for 2 or 3 years.
And these meetings, they happen monthly. So if you live in Waterbury and you want to be a part of this conversation, you can too. For now in Waterbury, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61 News.
DeAndrea, thank you. We are following breaking news tonight as a federal judge is blocking President Joe Biden's plan to provide student loan debt forgiveness to millions of borrowers.
Fox 61's Sarah Sanchez joins us in the Breaking News Center to tell us about this ruling. Sarah.
Well, the debt forgiveness plan was already put on hold by a federal appeals court in a separate lawsuit in St. Louis, but another judge in Texas is also putting a halt to it. Tonight, District Court Judge Mark Pittman says the program bypasses Congress's powers to make laws. The White House just released a statement moments ago saying it strongly disagrees with the ruling by Judge Pittman. He was appointed by former President Donald Trump. In the other case last month, federal appeals court put the plan on hold while 6 states filed a lawsuit to block it. Despite that, the White House has encouraged borrowers to apply for relief, saying the court order doesn't prevent applications to be filed or reviewed. More than 22 million people have applied for debt relief as of late last month. The Department of Justice has filed an appeal to get the ruling overturned. In the Breaking News Center, I'm Sarah Sanchez. Ben and Jen, back to you.
All right, Sarah, thank you. New at 10 tonight, a Hartford man is facing charges after he's accused of stealing from vehicles outside of a gym in Glastonbury. Police there arrested 23-year-old Tajay Hunter last week on warrant for several break-ins in the parking lots of Edge Fitness Center back in February and July. He's now facing more than a dozen charges in the case. Hunter's also facing charges in connection with the July hit and run and more vehicle break-ins in Naugatuck.
Well, new at 10, the city of Bridgeport has a new police chief tonight. Mayor Joseph Ganim announcing former city police captain Roderick Porter will be the new chief. Porter had served in Bridgeport Police Department for 36 years until he retired in June. He's currently an associate criminal justice professor at Post University and a substitute teacher in Bridgeport Public Schools.